Hey everybody, and welcome back once again to the Statuesque Events YouTube channel. We are broadcasting today live from the Statuesque Events office, as you can see, Statuesque Events, and I'm always excited to bring content for you, all right? Now today the content that we're bringing is for wedding planners and wedding professionals, aspiring wedding planners, all of that good stuff, and I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite tools, which is AislePlanner. Now, I've been using AislePlanner since, I want to say since it was first created. I've been using AislePlanner for at least 8 or 9 years. I mean, it's been an amazing tool for my business. And one thing that I've noticed over time is that a lot of people may have heard of AislePlanner, but they're not using it to its fullest capacity. So today I'm going to be sharing 3 ways that you can use AislePlanner to actually streamline your event planning business. All right. As event planners, we are very busy people. And you need to learn how to streamline. Otherwise, you're going to just be working 14-hour days on a regular basis and just be stressed out, right? So you need to have a good approach to using the tool. And that's what I'm going to be talking about today. All right. Now, before I get too far, as usual, I want to introduce myself really quick. My name is Faye Shala, and I'm the owner of Statuesque Events. We are a wedding and event planning company based in the DC metro area, and we plan weddings and events anywhere in the world, right? Like we've done events on the West Coast. We've done events, of course, here in Maryland, New York, Connecticut, Florida, North Carolina, Texas, like so many other places. We have an event next year in London. We have an event later this year in Mexico. I mean, we do events all over, and we love producing modern multicultural weddings. In addition to that, I run a coaching program called Planners Who Profit. It's exactly what it sounds like. The goal is to help experienced event planners get more profit in their business by 2 things. Number 1, increasing sales, right? And especially at a higher price point, but also number 2, helping you to get more done in less time. So you're basically making more per hour. And today, that's our focus, is figuring out how to streamline your business by using the right tools. A lot of times we have the tools and we don't know how to use them correctly. So that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. Now, by the way, if you've never used AislePlanner, I have something really cool for you. We do have a partnership with AislePlanner. Like I said, I've been using them for forever. So I do have a partnership with them. And when you sign up with AislePlanner, you do get a 30-day free trial. But when you sign up through our link to AislePlanner, you also get 25% off your first 3 months using the tool. So you get all the perks when you sign up using the link that I've shared in the description. So make sure you go ahead and grab that, use that, okay, and sign up that way, all right? It's a great way to let them know that you found the video this way, and you definitely save more money by going that route. All right, so go ahead and do that, and come back to this video. Let us know what you think, okay? Now, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that I can show you the different ways that I use AislePlanner, and I recommend that you use AislePlanner to save time in your business. All right, just like that, we've got the AislePlanner screen up. This is where you get to create a brand new project. You can manage all kinds of projects in here. We do manage both weddings and other events in here, but for the sake of this, we're going to focus on weddings. Now, when you create the template, you can actually build your own template. Like AislePlanner has its own default template as far as like what is generally included in a wedding planning template. So especially when you're first starting out, this is a great thing to start with, right? But over time, you get to build and edit your own template. So I've created templates for the different things that we do. Like we have a very specific coordination template that we follow, especially for in our business, we have our associate planners manage coordination. And so we have a very specific template that we follow, because at that point, a lot of the weddings are already planned. We have our self-produced wedding template, which is when, for us, it means that everything's coming from outside, food, catering, all this other stuff is coming from outside. There are extra tasks for that. So we have a separate template for that. And then for us, we do lots of 2-day events. So we do lots of multicultural events, like I said. So with 2-day events, there are more tasks that are involved. So we have another template for that, right? So as your business grows and evolves and gets more specialized, you can pick any of these templates and run with that and start to build your own, right? So that's one of the cool things that I love about using AislePlanner. Now, when you get in here, you obviously put you get to put your couples. I'm gonna call them bride tests and groom tests. Ooh. All right, and just for the sake of just for the sake of the video, this is how I'm gonna name them. Let's just say this event is September 30th, right? And guest count of 150. Average guest count of a wedding in the US is around 120. So let's just say 150 for that. Let's say their budget is $50,000. Let's say they're getting married in, I don't know, where are they getting married? Let's just say that they're getting married in, why not? Let's just say they're getting married in Laurel, Maryland, which is a place not too far from us. And then US dollars, month, date, all that. So once this is good, you go ahead and hit create project and it creates the project for you. So now you can see the project is nice and open. So you can add all kinds of things here. I love the fact that you get to see how many days until the event, the dates listed there, important items, things that are coming up soon are listed here. We haven't assigned any tasks, so there's nothing there. These are just some starter inspiration images. You get to create your own design boards. You can see planning progress. This is just a really cool dashboard to use, right? Now, one other thing that I always do before I invite my clients is that I go into projects settings and I upload a picture of my clients. Now, I'm not sure why this looks very similar to what we just set up, right? But for whatever reason, the ability to upload a picture doesn't come up until after you've created the project. So I always make sure I go back and upload the picture, right? Because it's just cool. It's cool for the dashboard. Whenever they log in, that's the first thing that they see. And for me, it's just nice as well. And then when I start adding the other planners on our team, they get to see what the couple looks like before they get there on the event day, which is also nice, right? To be able to recognize people that way. So that's one thing that I always do. There are a lot of, the checklist is very long. So, but you can go in here and you can see the recommended timelines for, completing all different kinds of things, which is definitely something you want to do. So you see the first task is inviting people to collaborate on your wedding. So if you go to planning partners, this is where you can add people. You see myself under statuesque events. I'm going to add myself as well as a bride. That's where you can email us at any time about our programs. Okay. Right, and the role I'll put as bride, add the client. Now, once you've added the client, even before you send the invitation, that gives you an opportunity now to actually assign people. So now maybe I wanted to assign that to the bride, right? This is where you get to assign things. This is where you get to check things off. One of my favorite things, and now we're actually getting into the actual features of AislePlanner, right? That help you to save time in your business. One of my favorite things about AislePlanner is the communication portion, right? So once you release a segment, everything here is hidden until you release it to your clients. If I release this as a checklist to my client and I've already invited the client on the prior screen, I can go here and assign something to Planners Who Profit. And I can put a comment. I can say here, hey, just a reminder to confirm if your parents are available in September or October, something like that, right? Now, the coolest thing about this is that once I hit add, this is actually going to send an email to the people that are assigned, right? So right now you see the bride is assigned. Whenever I send a message like this, it sends an email to them. And the better part is that all they have to do is reply to the email to get back to me. When they reply to the email, I'll get an email and it will also leave a comment here. This streamlines so much. Here's the thing. As event planners, I'm going to say add, and usually something else I'll say, if it's a brand new client, I'll say, as a reminder, you can hit reply to this and any other comments email via AislePlanner to reply with a comment, right? Neat. So that lets them know. And again, for me, we work with very busy clients. And I'm sure anybody out there who's looking to level up, the more you level up, the more you're going to be working with really busy clients who may not always just have the time or want to log into a dashboard every 5 seconds to send you replies. So giving them the opportunity to reply by email is literally golden. Like, this is why I love AislePlanner. This is why I've used it for so long, is largely this. I used AislePlanner. I've been using AislePlanner since when I was part-time, when I was working a very busy IT job while also working in event planning. And the reason is because I was like, it makes more sense for me to spend a little bit of money to save myself so much time. Because the thing is, we all know how it is as event planning, right? When you're sending emails, you send an email about the cake, then the bride has a question about the dress, and then she has another question about food. And next thing you know, you have this whole long conversation, right? This long conversation where, you don't know it's hard to tell, like, when did we stop talking about the cake and when did we start talking about this? And 9 months later, the bride's asking, like, wait, no, I don't think I said that. I think I said I wanted yellow on the cake, not orange or something like that. And you're like, oh no, I'm sure you said it. Let me see if I can find it. And you got to dig through all these emails because the subjects don't line up to what you were talking about. Things have gotten out of control. And this is where a lot of time is lost. Right? This is where you get stressed. This is where it takes a long time to respond to clients. This is where things start to get confused. And it also gets frustrating, frankly, for the clients because they can't find stuff easily. So what I like to do is to make sure that as the project manager, as the leader, right, for the event, that I am keeping things organized enough so that clients can easily go in and see where they said what. Things are organized. You don't have to be stressed. You don't have to spend 30 minutes looking for an email or for an attachment, right? Being able to organize conversations by topic is literally golden. And being able to go in and just say, let me check when we talked about dates. Oh yeah, this is where we left off. Okay, this is what we discussed, as opposed to having to dig through thousands of emails about all different kinds of things, right? And sometimes email subjects are not even that specific. Some people have email subjects that say something like, oh, just another thing, or about my wedding and stuff like that, which is so difficult to filter through, especially when you have multiple clients who are sending you all these emails. Your inbox is full of stuff. And it's just hard to track. So I believe that, this is a crucial tool and it's a crucial way to use AislePlanner. I've met so many people who already had AislePlanner as a subscription before we were working together, before they were coached by me, before they joined one of our events like Planners Who Profit Live or something like that. And they're like, wow, I didn't know I could use AislePlanner like this. And I'm like, whoa, like this is one major way to save a lot of time, right? A lot of times, we like to throw out buzzwords like, oh, I need a CRM, I need a tool, but we don't think through what the tool's supposed to do for us. And this is one of the major things that AislePlanner will do for you and for your business is saving you time, but we're just organizing your communication. And you also, part of the onus is also on you to make sure that you're keeping the communication organized as well, taking things and putting them in the right place. But having this framework really helps so much. So that is one of the main things I definitely wanted to show. All right. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. So number one, it's the communication, right? This just sent 2 emails to the client. I would recommend sending it as one email, but hey, just a reminder, confirm your appearance available in September, October. You can hit reply to this or any other comment in AislePlanner and to reply to me, you go hit reply to this email or any other comment, and that'll send an email to me. That reminds people that they can do that. Even if you've told somebody once, it's different. You can't expect people to remember every single thing you've told them. So it's nice to give those little reminders, all right? And do that. So that's one of the things I love about AislePlanner. As you can see, there's so many tasks in here. And of course, you can change the deadlines from a time frame to an actual date, right? And that's what triggers reminders, by changing it to an actual date. Now, when you get to the calendar, I don't particularly use this very much. I'll just use my regular calendar on my phone, but this is just a visual of everything that you have in the timeline tool. The design studio is something that I love because you guys know Pinterest can get very quickly disorganized when people have pin boards of all kinds of stuff on there. So I go in here and I reorganize people's thoughts in here. But the second thing I really wanted to show you that is a really good tool, time-saving tool, is in the budget tab, okay? So in the budget tab, this is where you get to see the budget of the event, the breakdown per category, what people are going to be spending. It is kind of cool that AislePlanner does give you a breakdown. So when you put in a budget, as you saw earlier, I put the budget of 50,000. It already gave a general breakdown of what you should spend per category, right? This is not always true to what things actually cost in the industry. And the reason I say that is if I was to put in like $20,000, right, it would just break things down, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be that easy to find like a $500 dress or a $750 dress. So you still have to go in here and update the budget according to what's realistic and according to the client's vision, right? Like hair and makeup is not going to be $500 if they want to pay for hair and makeup for their whole bridal party, right? Bride's fashion is not going to be $2,500 if they want to buy a dress from Kleinfeld's or get something custom made, right? There are venues that are 5,000, but if this person's already booked a place or they've booked a place that's like, that's like $100 a head or something like that, it's not going to be this. So you got to go in here and make it realistic. But I love this. And the reason I say that this is a great time-saving tool is that when you get into contacts, which are your vendors, right? Let's say I created a contact. Let's say I created a contact for myself, right? So our business is Statuesque Events, right? And let's say I followed the budget. Let's say that they got that part right and they booked event planning for $5,000, right? So I could go in here and say add to contact payment schedule, and it's in the budget category of wedding planner. I can enter the invoice as $5,000, right? So I entered the invoice as $5,000 because it's something that I already had in the budget. You see, I checked the mark for coordination fees because that was what was already in the budget. So I want to line this up with that. So now let's say they booked a wedding planner for $5,000. Let's say I only take 2 payments, right? So the first payment is, let's say the first payment is paid already and they paid that today, and the next payment is due in a month, right? These are just arbitrary numbers, but let's just say that was the case. Now I can put the deadline, right? The next payment is due September 22nd. You can see when the first one was made, right? You can see the breakdown right there. So now that this is all set up, if you go back to the budget, you'll see already that, oh, gotta put this in here. Yeah, so 5,000 was the overall fee, 5,000 was the coordination fee price. You can see the actual amount now is 5,000. You can see in the paid category was updated to 2,500 because I marked the first payment as paid, and you can see what's still due is 2,500. This happens automatically for every single category as you update the vendor tab, right, with different vendors. So let's say, again, going through the budget, you know, one thing I always do is I add the actual amount for each thing. Let's say for this person, they buy a $2,000 dress and they get alterations for $500, right? This is actually a really good example, right? So that's how they make their $2,500 budget. If I go back to contacts and I create a form and I say bridal shop, right, name, whatever the bridal shop name is, put that here, put it in beauty, right? And put that this contact is booked. It's really important to add that this contact is booked, because that's the only way it maps to the budget. Now, I can say here that this person, a payment schedule, I'm gonna go to bridesmaid and fashion, right? So she got a wedding gown. The wedding gown, let's say again, let's say the wedding gown ended up being 1,800, right? So the wedding gown ended up being 1,800 and she has paid 500 so far, right? And that was paid. And let's say that the 1,300, let's say she has another deposit of 500 due in a week or two, and then the final payment is due later, right? So let's say this is due in a week, which is that, and this is due in September, let's say September 15th. Now you can see the breakdown of everything that's due. You can see how all this breaks down, right? Now, let's say she's already received her dress and she found out that alterations are gonna now be $700, right? I want you to see how this looks like, right? So let's say bridal alteration shop, right? Let's say she has to go to a different alteration shop for this. This is booked. Now, again, like I said, the bridal alteration shop is saying that it's going to cost $700, right? So we add the payment schedule again. And it's the budget amount was 500, but now she's paying 700 because that's how much the alterations are. Unfortunately, you don't find out the price for alterations until after you get your dress. So that's just kind of how it goes. Let's say she's paying $350 now and $350 later, right? So let's say this is paid already, $350 is due. Again, let's just say September 13th, something like that, right? Now you see we've entered all of these items and you go to the budget tab and it's already organized for you. You can see that you were $2,000 under budget. That's why it's in green for the wedding gown section. You can see that you were $200 over budget in the alteration. So overall, you still made out evenly, right? If you go all the way to the bottom, you see that the difference is, you're not over or under by anything, which is great. You're not over budget. You're still on budget, even though certain things were over and certain things were under, which is always going to happen when you're planning a wedding. So at this point, you can see very clearly where things are. And the best part is that your clients can come in here at any point and see it. A lot of times I speak with planners and people are like, oh, well, my clients keep asking me for the budget and I have to keep sitting down and recalculating the budget and recalculating the budget and recalculating the budget. Instead of doing that, using a tool that automatically does it every time you log a new payment or every time you log a new vendor that's signed, it automatically tracks it for you. Right. You can see all the upcoming payments due this week and due this month. And the couple gets reminders about this. So instead of you sitting down, combing through contracts every week to try to figure out what's due what week, this is actually going to do it for you as long as you put it in the first time when you first get the contract. This saves you so much time, right? So you're not continuing to do rework. it's already here and it's laid out for you. So this is a major time savings tool that you get when you use AislePlanner. I personally have not found another tool that does this as well as some of the other things that AislePlanner does. So this is another major time saver. And again, for myself, I started using this when I was still, working a demanding IT job while running this event planning business. And many of the people that I coach are working day jobs while building their event planning business. And there's nothing wrong with that. I actually think it's an amazing way to see things. Why not build your business to a point that it's paying you significant amounts of money before you leave your day job so you can leave comfortably, right? That's what I did, and that's what I coach other people to do. But part of that means that you got to work efficiently. So being willing to spend $30, $40 a month for a tool like this, right, to save you time so that you can make more money from your business. I mean, $30, $40 a month comes out to like 400 to maybe 500 a year. But if you're able to do this and save time so you can take on clients so that you can make 40,000 or 50,000 a year, that's literally like 100 times more what the tool costs, right? So I saw that that exchange of time is something that made sense so that I could actually run my business, run it well, command top dollar while staying organized. And again, I'm showing you 3 of the ways that I use AislePlanner to streamline my business. I can't give you everything because, as you can see, this video is already getting long. And the majority of it I do teach in my accelerator program, Planners Who Profit. AislePlanner has always been part of the tool suite that we recommend. And even if you don't want to use AislePlanner, we can teach you other ways. I'm very tool agnostic, but this is what I've always used and what I believe is the best, right? So as you can see how this can save you so much time and with streamlining your business, right? So again, the link to grab AislePlanners, to sign up for AislePlanner is in the description. Make sure you use that link, because when you use that link to sign up, not only do you get the free trial, but you also get 25% off your first 3 months with AislePlanner, okay? So it's already, the fee is already great, but you get even more money off when you use our referral link. All right, so that's just a freebie that you get for being part of this channel. Make sure you subscribe to make sure you don't miss out on any other freebies or connections that we have. But as you can see here, this is how you can track all the way down. You can see what the difference is. There's a difference here with 0. The difference here is 0, but you can see where you were over and where you were under, and you can just keep going like that with different examples as you go through the planning process to see where you're over and where you're under. All right. Now, the third time-saving tool that I wanted to show you, I've actually already showed to you briefly, but it's the contacts tab, right? So as you can see here, we have 3 contacts that we've created so far, and I created these because I wanted to show you the budget tab, and I wanted to show you that everything really interacts with each other. I showed you earlier that that there was a checklist, right? If I go back to the checklist, you'll actually be able to see those pending payments, right? Or if I just go to the homepage, to the wedding, you'll see all those payments. You'll see them as important items that are upcoming. So they actually get added as tasks that the client can leave comments on, ask questions about, that you can send, they already get automatic reminders about all of these tasks, but you can also send additional reminders and say, hey, just a reminder, the client, they ask that you pay via PayPal for this last payment, or whatever the case is. You can still communicate through these tasks, right? These individual tasks, which you can also see here in the contact tab. So it's amazing how everything ties together. The fact that contacts ties in so seamlessly with the budget and it ties in with the tasks is already like one major time-saving tool here. But the second thing that I wanted to call out is how to use the inside, right? So there are a few things about the contacts tab that saves you a lot of time and money and just effort. Number 1, saving the actual contracts, saving the proposals that you get from your clients. So let's say you come here, right, and you've received a contract from bridal shop name, right, and you're like, hey, I want you to review this contract and see if this is something that you're interested in doing. You can always go again to add to contact. You can add the files. I'm gonna pick a random file. Let's see. What could I pick that's random? Let's say I pick. Okay, this is a sample wedding contract, right? Let's say I pick that from my downloads, right? So now I click upload. Boom, it's uploaded here. Now, the best part is that I can leave a comment here and say, hey, I've just received the contract from the vendor. Please it's saved right here in AislePlanner. Please log into view. When they log in, they can click here and they can hit preview, right? And when they hit preview, it opens up in a new tab. Oh, and sometimes it takes a little while. All right, let's try this again. When you hit preview, it opens up in a new tab, right? Opens up in a new tab. Now you can view the whole contract, right? You can see it really quickly. You can see what's going on, what's included, what's not, right? So you can see all of that. And that's one of the cool things that I love. So it's always here. It's always a reference. You can always see exactly when it was sent. So this is another place that a lot of wedding planners lose time in. You're looking for a contract. You got to sit there and dig through a whole bunch of emails, all the back and forth emails you have with the vendor to answer questions, to ask, to follow up, whatever, to try to find the final contract. Or you're digging through all these emails with your clients and all that. No, this is a great way to save time. When you get the first quote from the vendor, put it here. When you get the signed contract from your client, save it here. And when you get the final signed contract that both the client and the vendor have signed, also save it here. That way, everything is here, easy access, and you can move forward. A lot of the misunderstandings and things that come up with weddings is because people did not send the final contract. So there was like, oh, I thought we agreed on this. No, I agreed on that. Just make sure you have it here so you can always reference it, right? So that's like one major thing. I usually don't go digging for things. I just go straight into AislePlanner and I can find whatever was assigned to each client, right? Second thing that I love about AislePlanner is being able to save the contact. So let's say bridal shop name, let's say Kathy Beef, right, is the name of the owner. And it's just like owner at bridalshopname.com. Maybe that's her email. And then her phone number is 555-555-5555, right? And that's her cell. Now, what I get to do is I can go to this contact sheet. Usually have to refresh right after you've added a new contact name. But you can see here at a glance all of the vendors and their contact information once you filled that out. And you can export this as a PDF. And when the venue or other vendors ask you like, oh, can you send me a list of the vendors? You just come here and do it. You don't need to like type out a list or whatever. You can just come here and just export it, right? And then you can send the vendor list for each event, which I recommend. I do that for every event. I want everybody to know who they're working with and how to contact each other if they just want to, if they want to ask questions, want to work together in the future, whatever the case is. So people are aware of that. So at that point, you can just export it through the tool. So these are just a few things. As you can see, there are a lot of tabs that we haven't touched on yet. And that's because I wanted to focus on things that save you time. And also because, again, most of this I teach in my accelerator program, Planners Who Profit. But as you can see here, like using contacts, using the budget tool, and using all of that just saves you so much time. The budget tool saves so much time, contact saves so much time, and the overall communication saves so much time. Again, inside of these contact tools, if you leave anything you type in here goes to everybody in the project, right? So everybody in the project gets anything that you say within a contact, which is a vendor. Anything on the checklist goes to people who are assigned to that task. So it's really cool. It's a great way to just keep things organized, keep everybody in the loop, moving along. Like, I love it. And I hope that you love AislePlanner as much as I do as well, right? So again, I want to make sure you go ahead, get the link, use the link in this description for this video in order to get your first month free and 25% off your first 3 months using AislePlanner. Like this is my gift to you as an AislePlanner partner. Love the program. I always have. I've used it for many years. I've seen it through many iterations and many upgrades and all that. And so I definitely want to recommend that you use it and that you take advantage of the discount that I have for you as well. All right. So if you have any follow-up questions, we reply to every single comment on this YouTube channel. So leave your questions in the comments. We'll get to it and we'll make sure we answer your questions. If there's something else you want to learn about, leave it in the comments. We many times use comments to make new videos, like we add it to our roster of videos that we're going to create and tips. So make sure that you do that as well. If you made it this far in the video, you have to subscribe. I want you to subscribe. That tells the algorithm that you enjoyed this video. And it also makes sure that you see all of our future content. We've got content where we show you our past weddings. We show you the process of the planning and designing them. We have way more tips for wedding pros, so much more information. So if you've made it this far, you've enjoyed this, I want to make sure you enjoy everything else that we have. So make sure you subscribe. That way you get to see the updates and the additional content that we send your way. All right. Till next time, ciao. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Happy planning.